Okay, so we all know that artificial intelligence, it's got the power to do some incredible good, right? But, there's always a catch. The big question is, how can the organizations we count on, think about your local nonprofit or that community clinic down the street, how can they actually afford to use AI safely and ethically?
I mean, AI is totally changing our world, no doubt about it. But here's the thing, using it responsibly, that's a massive undertaking. You need serious legal knowledge, you need top-tier tech experts, and you need a compliance budget that's, well, it's pretty much out of reach for anyone who isn't a giant corporation. And that creates this huge barrier for the very organizations that are out there serving our communities.
And this is what that barrier really looks like in the real world. So on one side, you've got these resource-rich corporations, right? They have their own legal teams, huge tech budgets, the whole shebang. But then on the other side, you have these amazing mission-driven orgs, and they're facing this absolute mountain of complex regulations with, let's be honest, severely limited resources. The risk of messing up is just way too high, and what that does is create this growing AI divide.
So, what do we do about this? Faced with this growing divide, how do we make sure that AI is a tool that benefits everyone, not just the ones with the deepest pockets? Well, it turns out there's a really unique, mission-driven model coming out of California that's offering a pretty powerful solution.
All right, let's dive in and take a closer look. The organization is called AICAREAGENTS247. Now, they're a California nonprofit, and their mission is just crystal clear. They exist to empower underserved sectors, we're talking healthcare, community groups, to use AI ethically, equitably, and maybe most importantly, in full legal compliance.
And their nonprofit model is really the key here. It's the secret sauce. Instead of making profits for shareholders, every single dollar they bring in gets reinvested right back into the community. That money goes to scholarships, for organizations that desperately need the training, it pays for pro bono consulting to help them build up their own skills, and it fuels public education and policy research to help shape fairer AI laws for everybody.
And the impact of this model, it's immediate, and it is huge. Get this. Because they're a nonprofit, they can slash AI compliance costs by at least 50% compared to the for-profit guys. And let's be clear, this isn't just some nice little discount. It's a lifeline. It makes expert guidance accessible to organizations that were completely priced out of the market before.
Okay, so we get the mission, right? It's a great idea. But how do they actually make this happen on the ground? Let's break down the specific tools and programs they're using to turn this big vision into a reality.
Their whole approach is this really practical three-step process, super straightforward. First, they certify key staff with a specialized program, so you build that expertise right inside your own team. Second, they equip the whole organization with really practical stuff like policy toolkits and ready-to-go legal templates. And third, they support them with ongoing consulting and mentoring.
So let's zero in on that first step because it's a big one. It's called the CCAICO program. That stands for California Certified AI Compliance Officer. And listen, this is not some generic tech certification you can get anywhere. It is the very first of its kind, and it's specifically designed to tackle the unique, thorny challenges that nonprofits and healthcare providers face every day. And trust me, those challenges are immense. We're talking about this incredibly tangled web of state and federal laws. You've got California's new AI Transparency Act. Then you've got these massive privacy regulations like CCPA. That's the state's big Consumer Privacy Act. Then there's HIPAA for healthcare, of course, and FERPA for protecting student data. For a small organization, trying to navigate all of that alone is, well, it's pretty much impossible.
All right, so we've seen the model and we've seen the tools. Now let's talk about the real-world impact this is having all across California, because it's creating this powerful ripple effect of ethical, responsible AI being put to good use.
What's really smart about their approach is that it's not one size fits all. They know every sector is different. So for healthcare, what's the biggest challenge? Patient privacy and HIPAA, right? So they offer specialized CCAICO training for that. For nonprofits, it's that double whammy of data security and just super high costs. So the solution there is customized toolkits and scholarships. And for the public sector, it's all about accountability and public trust. So they help them build these really solid governance frameworks.
Let's just zoom in on healthcare for a second, because the stakes there are just so incredibly high. The benefits are really clear. First, enhanced compliance. That just dramatically cuts down your legal risk. Second, better frameworks to safeguard patient privacy, which is non-negotiable. And third, building that in-house expertise creates this long-term resilience. It means clinics aren't constantly dependent on super expensive outside consultants anymore.
And for nonprofits, the ultimate benefit is really empowerment. That's the game changer.
This isn't just about getting some new tools. It's about giving them the power to truly own and govern their own technology. It means they can make sure their AI platforms are actually aligned with their mission, protecting the very communities they serve with a real commitment to privacy, security, and transparency.
So look, this is clearly making a huge difference in these specific sectors. But let's zoom out for a minute, because this work, it matters for everyone, even if you're not in California. This is fundamentally about what kind of future we're building, a more equitable one with technology.
There's this quote from their mission statement that it perfectly captures the heart of what they're doing. The goal is to, and I quote, democratize AI compliance education and resources. So think about what that means. This isn't just about tech and rules. It's about promoting a way of using AI that actively protects civil rights, that supports our most underserved populations, and that, in the end, advances the health of the entire community.
And that really leaves us with a critical question, one that we all have to think about. As AI gets woven more and more into the fabric of our lives, how do we make sure that this incredibly powerful technology is actually serving humanity, and not just the bottom line? Models like the one we've just talked about, they suggest the answer isn't found in profit, but in purpose.